page on Facebook real quick. Okay, we're live.
Yikes.
Good morning.
Just as when you said we're live, I realized because a while ago we were on this camera angle, right? So it was
Right.
a bit sort of limited. And then we switched on the camera angle. I just realized like the laundry is still back there, fresh from the washing machine. And I wasn't able to hook up the camera properly. My armpits are sweaty. I hope you don't mind me saying that. Uh, ano, real talk lang. Kasi we are excited about this topic today, Jay.
Yeah.
I am. I don't know about you, but
Oh, absolutely.
couple of weeks ago, or just last week, as in fresh off the press, we were sort of bouncing off ideas with each other on stuff to talk about.
hmm
And one of the articles that I came across online, lo and behold, do you remember how we came across it? I remember the episode, but I don't remember.
It was basically an article that you found online.
But
It was
was there a backstory why I decided to go on a hunt for like Philippine history? Oh no, because we started
no
talking. I remember we started talking about Nayong Pilipino
correct. Nayan
being
Filipino, and we
being
were discussing how I was telling you my past experiences with it. Because I still remember going there when I
mm,
was still living in the Philippines in Nayong Filipino. Talagang yung original place before where it is now, which some people probably don't know that Nayong
mm,
Filipino now is not the
mm.
original place or the original Nayong Filipino in the Philippines.
So we were going down this stretch of memory lane, living
Correct.
vicariously through other vloggers. Speaking of which, Dagan, hopefully he'll make it to the end of the show also
Right.
today.
Right.
But basically, we're looking forward to this discussion tonight about this article that we came across, or I came across while we were bouncing off the ideas about Nine Filipino, Philippine history, heritage, and that kind of thing. And we reached out to one of the article writers. It's an opinion piece,
Right.
and we'll talk to her tonight, and then hopefully we'll get to talk to one of the professors also behind this movement, find out a little bit more about this returning history in high schools, and see what's going down, and just have that conversation. This because both of us are basically dads that have young kids that don't have an appreciation for Philippine history.
And well, it's not that. It's the last time that I actually lived in the Philippines. I was the last school that I attended. I was in ninth grade, which is equivalent to eighth grade over here in the States, right?
Mm.
Um, they were still teaching Filipino lessons, Filipino history in school.
Yeah. Yun nga.
You
So
know,
we'll find out about
so
more about that, why they stopped it, when it
right.
actually stopped, and that whole thing. You ready with the intro? Is that a good
I
enough
got it.
intro for us, or you want to talk a little longer and
I think
stretch
that's
it
good.
out?
Well, how are you? It's been a while since we talked.
Go play the intro because I gotta wipe my armpits. They're really sweaty right now.
Okay,
I
hold
gotta
on.
get a towel. Hold on.
I got zero friends.
Two guys from two sides of the world. The Flip Side with Jay and Noel. You can catch us live online on YouTube and Facebook Monday, Wednesdays, and Sundays. And now, your hosts, Jay and Noel. Good
Yun.
morning, good evening, magandang umaga. How are you guys doing today?
Pasok na natin si Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hello po.
So
Ayun.
we have a special guest today, the writer of the article that was posted. Where was this posted again?
I think it was posted on Rappler originally. Tama ba, Mary? No? Tapos rini-post ng PUP, di ba?
Yes po.
All
Oo.
right. Can
Yes
you
po.
tell us a little bit
After
about
bumababa
yourself?
siya Rappler.
Mm-mm. Yeah, Jay?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, Mary. Like where you go to school, what grade you in.
Um,
Sabi ko sa'yo, may beauty pageant questions eh.
Oh my.
Yeah, sige, sige. No, let's start from the beginning. According to the article, 16 years old ka. Buksan pala natin yung article, Jay. Wait lang, ha?
Nasa akin na.
The thing was, how did you get started with the article? Yun siguro muna talaga yung tanong. Paano nagsimula yun? Wait,
Oh,
no,
you're in
no.
mute yata. Naka-mute ka.
Ayun, napamute ka. Wait, I'll put the one on
is it
the...
okay?
Yun. Okay ka na?
Okay.
Sige, Jay. Put the one on Rappler
Ayan po.
on screen.
Got it.
Oo. Paano ka nagsimula, Mary? How did you get started with writing the article?
Actually po kasi, it was Rappler in general. Parang after the pandemic, 2021, things were just getting better. And then, no, post po yung Rappler about new school. They're like, new news column, opinion column sa kanila pong internet page. And then, parang sinend lang po yun ng profs namin sa mga nagsusulat, gano'n.
Mm-hmm.
And as a bored teenager, sabi ko lang, might as well. Gustong isulat.
And then let me interrupt.
Ganun. And I asked my prof, ano pong magandang topic na isulat, gano'n. And sabi niya, I think ko lang din po nalaman na
Hindi ba ano?
wala na yung Philippine history sa high school.
Oh.
Yeah, hindi ka ba na ano, like kating-kati na bakit walang history? Gusto ko ng history. Gusto ko mag-memorize ng mga dates at saka mga tao na hindi ko kilala. Hindi ka ba, ganun ba nag-impisa yun?
Okay. I don't think we can hear each other properly.
Hindi naman po
okay.
siguro. I think kasi po, being in the institution that I was, medyo choppy po. Hello?
Yeah,
it's
go
okay.
ahead.
Hello?
Sorry.
Ayan. I think
Yeah,
the
yeah.
connection is a little unstable po. I'm sorry.
Oo nga. Sige lang.
I think, hindi ko naman po naisip yun kasi back in elementary pa lang, mahilig na po talaga ako sa history. And being in the institution that I was in high school, which is PUP, very involved po siya socially. So, history was really taught to us from the get-go, from the beginning, and how important it is. So, it was more than just magkakabisado ka ng dates, kung ano nangyari, gano'n. The teachers really taught us kung bakit yung significant, ano yung role namin sa gano'n. Parang gano'n po. So, they really taught us the...
Okay. Wait lang medyo choppy ng konti. Were you able to hear her, Jay?
It's very sporadic what I heard. It's like one few words here and there. It's really choppy.
Paano kaya? Yeah, no, because I think she was saying that professors mentioned na that there's no Philippine history. Pero yun, parang napuputol-putol ka, Mary. Wait lang ha. Let's see if there's anything that we can do with the ano.
Let's see if there's something I can do from this side too.
Okay. But when you were writing this article, it says on the article that you were just 16 years old. Did you already have Philippine history in you did not have Philippine history in classes. So you were in high school, tapos dun mo lang nalaman in high school or in class na wala kayong Philippine history. Ganun ba 'yon?
Hindi po.
Wala.
Actually, meron po kaming panlipunan. So, yun po yung parang history po namin. Araling panlipunan po as stated din by then DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones. Parang doon na po siniksik yung HECASI. Like, geography, kasaysayan, and all of that.
Okay. Sa araling panlipunan. Sige, wait lang. So, basta basically dun sa article, you're saying na, it might not be a good idea, but let me jump to siguro 5 years after, no? 2024 na ngayon, you wrote this 10 years after. I did my math wrong. 10 years after you wrote this article. No, when did you write this article? 26
during the pandemic. 4 years ago. Yeah.
3-4 years ago. So after that experience when you were 16
up until
2021. Okay, 3 years ago.
Yeah. So what's the experience like? So meron ka ngang masasabi ngang merong Philippine history pero hindi siya specific class. Tama ba 'yon? Tapos nakasingit na lang siya sa mga iba-ibang classes? Tama ba yung pagkaintindi ko? Mary?
Your connection is really lagging. Did you hear what Noel said?
Maybe you can just repeat it there if in case you didn't hear me.
Mary, can you hear any of us?
Sorry po, I didn't get the question. I think
Okay,
Yeah.
yes
go
po.
go ahead and Noel.
Yeah.
Noel, go ahead.
Yeah, ulitin ko ulit, sorry, Mary, ha, baka yung signal ko yung mahina. So tama ba lang
Yeah.
yung pagkaintindi ko na yung history classes, ayun, nawala siya.
Nawala
Maybe she's
siya.
trying to reconnect. But that's what I
Yeah.
was trying to understand. Is that what you understood from her though? That they do have history, they do touch upon it.
Hmm.
They do touch upon it, except it's during in the middle of Araling Panlipunan or other classes. Is
Right.
that what?
It looks like from okay, from my understanding, like what you're saying, it's not exactly an entire history class. It's just maybe snippets of it that's actually being inserted in like classes like I don't know,
Mm,
social studies, maybe economics. I'm not sure.
mm,
Depending on what actual class they have in those schools. Um, but for somebody like her in her generation to actually feel like she is missing out on actual Philippine history,
mm,
it shows a lot of concern, you know. I mean, I was mentioning earlier the last time that I was in school in the Philippines, I was in the ninth grade, which is equivalent to about eighth grade here in the States. They were still teaching Filipino history. That was like a separate class on its own. I think it was called eventually became social studies. I think. I can't remember.
yeah. But that's what yun nga eh, medyo dun na ako nawawala eh. Like maybe we're misunderstanding what Araling Panlipunan is, that kind of thing. I don't know what's
Hmm.
going on. But what I'm concerned about is if it is just sort of interspersed in between other classes or in
Right.
Araling Panlipunan, there's so much to tackle and talk about in just Araling Panlipunan itself that they're probably not going to have time to really talk about specific events.
Right. 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 It's it makes me wonder, Dell. How is it really going to? How is it affecting the kids nowadays, especially in her generation as well?
Yun
Because
nga.
I mean, some people say they're taking it out. Well, what I'd like to know is why they took it out. What the reason is why they took it out. How do kids feel about it taking it out? Because it seems like
Right.
the older generation, or as each generation gets older, like when they're in college and whatnot, when their minds are more built and matured, they're not getting the opportunity to actually understand their own country's history.
I don't know if the professor got cut off a while ago or he
Right.
jumped ship or whatever, but he popped in just before we came on live a while ago, and I was so glad to have the professor on. I wanted to talk to him too about his concerns
Correct.
because in the middle of my researching about Philippine history not being in schools now or where it is exactly, is that I guess it's so bad, quote unquote, that the situation is so bad that a bunch of professors or concerned citizens came up
Hmm.
with like a Facebook group. They're calling it a movement about basically people, concerned citizens gathering together to try to bring back Philippine history back in schools. And I
Right.
wanted to find out what that movement is all about and what the push is for, and at the same time, what the argument is to take it out. That was. There's a part here in Mary's article actually that
Hmm.
I wanted to highlight on. I hope you don't mind. I'll put this back up on screen
No, no, you're
again here.
fine.
Uh, this is where it starts. I think Dep Ed Secretary Leonor Briones. I guess she's the one that came up with the K to 12 and implemented that. Even though that she spent most of her life as a teacher,
Hmm.
failed to realize the importance of Philippine history in a growing teen's life, saying, while Philippine history is a subject, or as a subject, is no longer part of the junior high school curriculum, discussions of events in Philippine history are naturally integrated in several subjects. So
Which does not make sense to me.
maybe that makes up for it. Maybe that's the argument for making
Oh, choppy. I lost you there, bud. So while Noel's trying to figure out his connection as well, um, I don't understand how taking out Filipino history or any kind of history class, taking it out of the curriculum is going to help any kids nowadays, because from what it seems like, I mean, knowing history and studying history, I mean, you're helping your child or your kids form a cohesive opinion to take sides properly, either maybe negative or positive. It all depends. Mary just popped up real quick. Let me go ahead and see if I believe Noel is resetting right now. Oh, hold on one second. Hey, Mary, sorry about that. How are you? I
Hello,
think you're
I'm
still
good.
muted.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Oh, hello.
There you go. I can hear you now.
And hello.
Everybody's
Go,
back.
go,
Everybody's back.
go. Oh, lahat ng mga sagot mo, Mary. Go, pasok.
Wait lang po. Can you repeat the question po? Medyo sobrang choppy po kasi talaga kanina. Hindi ko po naintindihan.
it's it's okay.
Ah, saan ba tayo nawala? Ayun, si Jason naman yung nawala.
What is going
Siguro,
on today?
basta nung nagsulat ka nung 16 ka ng 2021, 2020-21 pandemic, naisip mo isulat yung article for Rappler. I was wondering ano yung sitwasyon sa school? Nag-aaral na ba kayo ng high school history noon? Wala talaga, napansin mo lang, kaya mo naisip isulat yung article. Ano, basta parang I just wanted to get your experience as far as Philippine history is concerned. I mean, nung elementary may history na ba kayo noon? Ano na ba yung
Bali
sitwasyon?
po, nung high school po kasi, in our case, sa PUP po kasi, very involved po talaga sa social studies. So, kahit na yung, ano po kasi kami, may academic freedom po kami. So,
Mm.
yung curriculum po, may curriculum kami, pero yung professor pa rin po yung bahala kung paano niya yun ituturo, parang ganun po. So, kahit po tinanggal yung Philippine history, if nandun po yung topic, yung mga profs po namin, they make it a point that we
Mm.
understand it from the root. So, siguro that's a good thing. Pero, nung elementary po kasi, siguro elementary, 2014 po kasi nawala yung Philippine history sa high school. So, siguro 2014, 2021, nasa high school na ako. Wala na pong Philippine history sa high school nung nasa high school na po ako. So,
Oh.
maybe for me, hindi po siya malaking impact dahil po sa mga professors po namin and sa institution namin. Pero sa iba ko pong mga kaklases, ay sa iba ko pong mga kakilala siguro, may incident po sa PBB, parang last year po yata yun or
Right.
the other year.
Yeah.
Yung
Na naging
Majoha
viral.
incident.
Correct.
Opo.
Did you know about this, Jay?
No, not really. I haven't heard of it.
Basically the answer was ano na yun? Gumburza, 'di ba? Tama ba?
Opo, Gamburza siya. Tapos ang
Ap-
sinagot is Majoha. Yung last names
I don't
po,
know what those mean. I'm sorry.
bale, there's, tinanong po sila about sa Gomburza, which are martyr Filipino priests. So,
Hmm.
Gomburza stands for Gomez Burgos Zamora. So, instead po na yun po yung isagot sa kanya, Majoha
Hmm.
po, which is their first name. Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora. So, Majoha
Oh,
po.
okay. Okay.
So, I guess the issue there, Jay, was that, like basic, sabi na natin basic Philippine history, something, hindi masagot. Kumbaga, it's like asking a math student 1 plus 1, tapos
Yeah.
3 yung sagot. Parang ganun, medyo parang ganun, di ba? So parang napapakamot tuloy tayo na, ba't hindi nyo alam? Tama
No,
ba
do
yun?
you?
Tama ba yung...
That's what it seems like.
Yes po.
Mary, can I ask you a question?
Yes po.
So, being somebody at your generation, without, I think maybe you were the last generation that they teach Filipino subject to, right, or history, correct?
I think, so, millennials po siguro, naabutan pa po nila.
Millennials.
Yes po.
Okay,
Gen
so
Z na po kasi yun sa amin.
yeah. So, is it? How important is it really for kids nowadays? Do you think, in your opinion, to learn Philippine history? Should they learn it from the way it was supposed to be back then, or to a more current history?
No, no, no. Here's another way to ask that question. Sa tingin mo ba may pagkukulang? Sa tingin mo ba,
Magkukulang. Yeah, there you go.
oh, parang
I think po, I think that sa perception po ng student, kaya po yung iba nawawala ng interest sa study ng history kasi they teach history in a parang modern way. Parang hindi nag-catch up sa
Mhm.
time yung sa interest po ng mga students. So, I
Mhm.
think, kung ituturo po nila yung history in a way na magugustuhan ng mga students or parang in a way na mas catching po sa attention nila, mas ma-appreciate po nila yung beauty ng history and dun po natin may inculcate kung bakit important yung history, parang ganun po.
Actually, yun sinabi ni Noel dati, nasa sa packaging siya. Is that right?
Yes po.
yeah. Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to mention here sa article na sinulat mo. And by the way, dun sa pagsulat mo ng article, wala ka naman pinagsisisihan na sinulat.
Wala naman po. Wala
nag-
po.
That's a good thing.
Na gusto mo i-edit or paltan. Hindi, kasi pag sinulat mo yan, parang it's
That's it.
written on stone. Here's an argument. Here's an argument kasi now when you teach it, siguro ito yung sinasabi mo kanina na there's today's technology, people can make false claims such as the Marcos era, etc., etc. But
Correct.
before we even get into this part, yung about technology, kasi somebody can argue na if you want to find out about history, pwede mo naman i-Google yan or pwede mo naman i-search yan eh. Bakit kailangan pag-usapan sa school? Or yung isang mas malalang argument, past is past. Move on na. Let's talk about the future. Parang ganun. How do you feel about that kind of argument or that point about not teaching Philippine history sa inyo?
I think po, it comes to the point na everything, hindi ka naman po magiging ikaw ngayon kung wala yun dati. Parang that argument. So, you can't really form a cohesive opinion if you don't have a basis na kung to form an opinion. Parang kapag nagsabi ka lang ng opinion, yun lang yan, nasabi mo lang yan kasi nasabi ng ibang tao. It's better to form an opinion based on the knowledge that you have on yourself, na sinerge mo siguro, pinag-aralan mo talaga, ganun. And on sa mga claims ko naman po dyan, very factual no. Nag-base naman po ako sa mga studies.
Don't worry, nobody's judging.
Hindi ka namin kine-question, pero the idea lang, let's say, of it's a nice thing that you mentioned here about it's easier to na mas madaling maloko yung mga taong magre-research lang, kumbaga, parang ganon. Na hindi talaga nila nakuha from, let's say, a history teacher or a historian. Do you feel na pag mag-Google search ka about history na it's possible na mali yung information na nakukuha mo?
Possible po. Kasi we have a subject po right now which is ratings in Philippine history. So, may time po na nag-search kami sa Google and then dinidibang po ng teacher namin or kino-correct po kami pag nagre-recite kami, gano'n. And sa Google naman po kasi, anyone can make a website. Anyone can upload anything that they want. They can claim that they're a historian without even presenting na graduate sila ng ganito, may validation sila or parang evidence na pwede sila magsabi ng ganong facts. Wikipedia, for example, kaya nyo naman pang mag-type ng kung ano na sa Wikipedia and claim that it's true. So,
yun ang problema eh. I mean, if you go online, everybody's generating their own opinions. So, talagang hindi siya, iba-iba ang paniningin at paniniwala pag binabasa mo online as opposed na pinag-aaralan mo sa eskwelahan, di ba?
Yes po. And I think yung difference doon is sa eskwelahan po, meron pong room for debate and discussion. So, matatama yung mali and magpapalitan po kayo ng kuro-kuro, parang ganun. And mas mapapalawak po yung parang discussion nyo po and the study.
Sa bagay.
At saka iniisip ko may konting accountability, di ba? Kung mali yung information na alam mo or nalaman mo, pwede mo, hindi, parang pangit kung sisisihin mo lang yung article or yung Google eh. Pero pag masisisi mo, tao talaga. Like, yung professor ko, ito yung sinabi ni prof eh. Meron ka masisisi talaga, di ba?
Tama po.
Versus kasi sa online, everybody's entering it on their own. If it's actually being taught in school, then it's an actual curriculum that's been approved and whatnot, diba?
Yes po. And may ano po talaga sila, may mga bachelors or graduate po talaga
Mm.
sila.
Oo.
So we can take their word for it po. Parang ganun.
Oh, ito. Speaking of bachelor's degree or taking their word for it kasi pinag-aralan nila. Here's a bonus question, a trick question for Mary. Sa tingin mo ba history is like chismis?
History is like chismis?
Yeah.
Narinig mo ba tong issue na to? Na nadatan mo ba tong
Opo.
issue na to? Kay
Parang
Ella or
narinig.
some artista or something like that. Did you know about this one, Jay?
I mean, I've heard you say it a couple of
Uh,
times, which made me look into it. So parang history
sige,
as chismis, in a way,
i-
kind of.
uh, imamarites ko ng konti sa'yo. Ikikwento ko ng konti sa'yo. So there was this artista promoting a Marcos-related movie. No, so they came up with a movie, and then she was interviewed. And as far as I understand it, parang she was asked like, "What do you think about Philippine history?" or something like that. But then she made a mistake of saying something like, or it was misunderstood or it came out the wrong way. Basta yun, sabi niya parang history is like chismis. Kasi may pluses and minuses yan. You can't really verify. But historians replied na in a sense naman, technically, wala naman talagang mali dun sila sinasabi nila because chismis is really part of history na kabuuan. But
Right.
with what Mary here is saying, and baka gusto mong dagdagan to, Mary, is pinag-aralan nila talaga versus chismis lang na kung ano yung pinaka-interesting, ano ba yung pinaka-pag-uusapan ni Boy Abunda, hindi
More
yun yung
more controversial in a way.
more controversial. Baka
Ah.
meron kang gusto idagdag doon? Do you feel the same way or how do we look at it?
Siguro po in a way, history is like chismis. Kasi po kasi yung chismis may negative connotation siya. Na parang hearsay lang siya, sabi-sabi, gano'n. But I agree po sa part na sinabi niyo na siguro historians say that it's like chismis in a sense na nagkiklaim ng mga something. But sa part po kasi nila, history is may facts na. So parang na-prove na po nila na na totoo po yun, that it's factual. They have
Right.
evidence, they have studies
It's proven
supporting it.
facts, yeah.
Yes po.
Yeah.
So it's really not like chismis. Siguro po you can say that uh, Jack the Ripper, si Jose Rizal is Jack the Ripper, that's chismis. But history has proven that that's not logically possible po.
Right.
So
Correct,
that's
correct.
history. Ganun.
Correct. No, in fairness to Ella, I think what she was saying lang na ingat tayo sa history kasi sometimes may plus and minus yan. Like you can't just take it hook, line, and sinker. But in fairness to the historians naman, what they're saying is, these facts are triangulated. They check it, they double check it, and they triple check it na there's actually documentation, hindi lang chismis. So there's chismis, there's documentation, and then there's actual, a third or fourth person confirming that it happened na hindi lang siya sa sinabi ng isang tao. So, which is what chismis is, di ba? That which is what chismis can be. Na kahit isang tao lang yan, go na yan, push na yan.
So now that it's been established that obviously the Filipino history is being taken away from school and whatnot, Mary, if I may ask you, how do you feel, or what do you think should be the steps to be brought to bring it back into the actual educational system?
Is it a cause for concern? Madrama lang ba? Are we making something big out of nothing?
Yeah.
Is it and this is
Well, I
coming
mean,
from you as a student, from your experience, ha? Sorry, excited. Pero
No, it's fine. In my
concerned
defense,
lang.
I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it. To me, it's a concern. I mean, you can't take away history from people because you can't forge your future without your history. I'm sorry, that's my belief. So, what do you think?
For me naman po, I think it's a big deal.
Mhm.
I'm concerned with the future generation din po. Paano po nila makikilala yung sarili nila and yung kung saan sila nanggaling? Paano po nila
Right.
perform yung identity nila if wala po silang history? Kung hindi po matuturo sa kanila. Madali po silang matitrick, as I've said in the article. We've done ways. I have personally emailed them and back then in the discretion of my professor po
Really?
yes po. But we just got the same old. It's already in the curriculum. ganyan. So, it's
Yun nga,
already in AP, like that.
baka
So,
meron kaming hindi naiintindihan. Baka nasa AP na nga siya, nasa Araling Panlipunan na nga siya. Do you think what you're learning from Araling Panlipunan is enough? Or are, are we making
for
a...
me po, as a, I think that it depends on two things po. It depends on the teacher and it depends on the institution. Kasi I'm seeing it from a semi-private institution point of view po, which is a
Mm.
state university high school. Kung titignan po natin siya sa public students point of view, which yung mga teachers, mga bare minimum lang po yung nabibigay na sahod and hindi
Mhm.
naman po halos lahat enthusiastic. Kasi enthusiastic magturo kasi nga po very mababa po yung tingin sa kanila dito. Ang baba ng mga sahod, mga
Yeah,
ganon.
yeah.
I think mas concerning po sa part nila yon kasi I've heard yung mga kabatch ko po na sa ibang school nag-study noon nung public high school
Mhm.
na
Mm.
very tip of the iceberg lang po talaga yung tinuturo sa kanila na kung ano lang po yung nasa curriculum, ganyan. Kung ito lang po ituturo, ito lang. Parang sasabihin lang sa kanila. It's very basic. Ito yung nasa blackboard, ito yung intindihin nyo, i-explain ko sa inyo, yan kabisaduhin nyo, and yun na yun. Parang ganun lang po siya. It's nothing really of the essence na bakit siya naging ganito. And I think that's what's more important in history, in teaching history po.
So it's not a full curriculum or class that's being actually dedicated to it. It's just literally snippets being inserted.
Yes po.
Maybe parang not enough to form opinions and arguments in case you
Right.
do come up with, let's say, kumaga parang you know enough history for you to be able to decide on what kind of leaders we need to vote for in the future. Diba? Parang
Right.
parang for you to realize how to score points in basketball, 2 points or 3 points or
Mhm.
or free throw ba yan? You need to
Actually po
know that
kasi,
you're actually playing basketball. Baka kasi pagpasok mo, soccer yung linalaro mo, basketball pala yung linalaro natin. Di ba? Parang ganun. Like
Oo.
if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, tama ba yun?
actually po kasi, in my experience po, if I remember correctly, nung in AP po, in grade 7, ang pinag-aralan mo po namin is world history, and then second year world history, then third year is economics, and fourth year is contemporary issues. So, wala po talagang space yung Philippine history doon.
Parang
Wow.
saling pusa lang. Singit
Opo, bali
lang.
sa contemporary issues lang po siya pumapasok kasi current issues, ganun. So, nabubuklat siya. Bakit naging
Wow.
ganun?
Is world history being taught in the Philippines as well? I mean,
Yes po. A whole year is dedicated to it. So, buong grade 8 po namin yun.
so an entire grade school is actually dedicated in world history, but yet the Filipino history is
Mm.
like snippets that's inserted. That doesn't make
Yes.
sense to me. It doesn't make sense.
Does it make
Wow.
sense to us too?
Yeah, I mean it's similar here. To be honest with you, the flip side in school history that's being taught here in the states as well. Sad to say, a lot of the high school students don't exactly take the importance of learning their own country's history. You know,
Yun.
nakakatawa pa nga minsan, to be honest with you, na madami kang tatanungin ng mga estudyante dito ni hindi nila alam na merong 50 states dito, hindi nila alam na hindi considered state ng Washington DC, etc., etc. Some of them don't even think that Hawaii is an actual part of the US. It's sad to say, you know? So,
Ganito na lang, guys. Uh, Mary, before we let you go, I want to thank you for your time. Ha? You've been so
yes, thank you.
generous. Saka,
Hindi
ang
din
lakas
po.
ng ang lakas ng loob mong, you know, to talk to us like this, not knowing each other from Adam and Eve. But so
Right.
we appreciate your time. But before we let you go, bonus question. Let's look at solutions moving forward. Okay, given the situation, now we just glaze over Philippine history. Na yung Filipino is now in Pampanga or in Clark. What do you suggest? How, if for those students, even parents that are concerned for Philippine history not being in the students' curriculum, etc., etc., how can we cultivate? Do you think, first and foremost, do you think it's important to cultivate history for Filipinos? And moving forward, and this is where I'll shut my mouth. How can we do it moving forward? If the schools can't do it, how can we do it on our own?
Mm, I think po, right now, what I'm seeing as a Gen Z, um, yung generation po namin very interested na siya in history because of the trends po. I think we can utilize the trends in social media in a right way right now. Kasi
Mhm.
like beauty pageants like Miss You, dahil po
Mm.
kay Catriona Gray, yung pag-represent po nila sa Philippines and sila
Right.
Michelle Marquez D, nagiging interested po yung mga bata sa history. So, they want to represent the Philippines and parang they take the Filipino pride.
I
And
see.
yung mga trends po sa TikTok ngayon, may nagte-trending yung piliin mo ang Pilipinas.
Mm.
So, that's
Hashtag.
gaining momentum right now po. And I think, besides that, um, mga generation po ngayon, they really fancy intramuros at the moment, historical places, the museums for
Mhm.
gala-gala lang, ganun. So, I
Right,
think,
right.
if the government can help us like that, we can utilize what we have right now, which are tourism
Mm.
spots and trends in social media in a right
Mhm.
way po. Parang ganun.
Pero paano ba nagiging trending yun? How do you make it more interesting for the Gen Zs? But it's interesting, no? The more you take it out of the school, maybe that's what makes it more interesting
I
for
mean,
people
like you
to
said
read.
Yes
earlier,
po, I
it's
think
the
so.
packaging. It's the packaging, like you said earlier.
Paano magandang packaging? Ano bang maganda for Gen Zs, millennials? Speaking of millennials, millennial legends, they might be able to pop in. What ano bang ano para paano ba siya i-package para interesting sa inyo or mas
I think
mahalaga sa
important
kabataan?
po sa amin yung relatability namin doon po sa nagtuturo sa amin or doon sa nagpe-present po sa amin ng information. If parang
Mm.
I relate to that person, I see myself in that person, or I
Mhm.
idolize that person, I want to be like that person, parang kung ano pong sabihin niya or gawin niya, I think magkaka-interest akong gawin din po. Parang ganun. So I think,
Siguro dun sa mga professors na nagrereklamo na walang history classes, dapat nasa sa kanila na rin yun to make it more interesting rin eh, no?
In a way, they need to sell it to the Department of Education to hopefully bring it back, right? Parang sales pitch na rin ang kailangan nilang gawin eh para ibalik.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yun ang mahirap dyan.
Wow. Anything else?
Well,
Congratulations para sa pag-publish ng article. Nakakatuwa
correct.
naman. Kami
thank you
wala.
po.
Nagpa-podcast lang kami pero wala kaming article. We don't have a published article on. If you guys want to read Mary's article, it's an opinion piece back in 2021 on
Mhm.
Rappler.
Rappler.
Just search for this title, and it's a 1, 2, 3 minute read, and she's got a lot of points in there. So thank you for your time, Mary. Anything else that you want to add, Jason,
Po.
Mary?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Hey, thank you for joining us. We would love to have you on again one of these days, but
Yeah.
hopefully talk about something a little bit more lighter that might relate or
Kung
show the difference.
kung mag-outing ka, kung makapunta ka ng Intramuros na yung Pilipino, any of those places, kahit 5 minutes lang, kwento mo sa amin kung anong feeling
Yeah.
makapunta sa mga...
Actually
Sa,
po, I live in Manila, so kabisado ko
oh,
po yung Intramuros.
Oh
so
wow.
ikaw magtutour sa amin sa Intramuros.
Okay po.
Meron bang hidden gem ang Intramuros na dapat na
Marami
maraming...
na po ngayon. Very trendy spot na po kasi sa ngayon na pupuntahan ng mga bata. Ganun.
Oh,
Oh really?
hindi yung inuman ha, pero something na historical
Hindi po.
that you really appreciate. Anong magandang tingnan sa
Um,
Intramuros niyan?
sa Intramuros po, maganda na po siya at night, I would say. At night, Manila Cathedral.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
Casa Filipina sa Intramuros po. And then, the BAM bikes. Yun po yung trending talaga. Nag-rent po sila ng bikes and then you can go it sa buong Intramuros. Kahit
Hindi
saan
ba
ka
merong
magpunta.
lugar sa Intramuros where it's like an entire area of food stalls na pinupuntahan? Is it
Yes po.
Okay, yeah.
Nandun pa rin po.
Ang
Si Jason
importante
basta
sa akin pagkain eh.
pagkain ng
Nasa tapat po siya ng mga universities ngayon kasi mga estudyante yung
Sabagay.
pagkain ng concern eh. O sige,
Of course.
Mary. Thank you. Usap tayo ulit ha.
Thank
Sige
you,
po.
Mary.
Thank
Hope
you
you have a
po.
good day.
Kayo rin po. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye
thank
bye.
you. Hopefully you had fun. Bye-bye. Ay, nako, history.
History in the making. Well, I mean, I love the way she is very supportive of her own beliefs in regards to the whole Filipino subject. It's amazing. You know what? I would like to get her on to be honest with you. I'd like
Mm.
to talk to her about how it is nowadays being a Gen Zer in the Philippines versus to when I left there in the 90s. You know what I mean?
Do you think it's a cause for concern, Dagan? What do you think? History classes? Is it and can you confirm it if they also are taking out history classes in US curriculum in America?
There, the simple answer to anywhere in the world for that question would
Stupid.
be
Idiots.
I didn't hear what he said. Say it again.
Sorry.
the the
Hey,
simple
man.
answer
Go
is
ahead.
that they do that in every culture. They do that in every culture, and they've never stopped doing it. Every culture that takes power or rises from the previous begins to slowly erase everything that was of the previous culture.
Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Mr. Dagan of Millennials Legend.
And
What?
before I forget, he just dropped another vlog today, another interesting one. Still touring history sites in Manila. But before we talk about that, though, Dagan, okay, so if it's happened before, any culture does it. What can we do in the future? I mean, what can we do to proactively help our kids, teach our kids if we're so concerned?
Study study what's happening to the Native Americans, the true Native Americans that are stuck on the last remaining reservations in America. Study how they're doing everything they can to preserve their culture and what's left of it. The same thing goes for the Pacific Islanders, the Hawaiians, the Tongans, the Samoans. You look at how the programs and the ways that they're studying their ancestry and their deities and their spirits and things like that. I would go the same approach that they are. It's pretty radical, but you have to just open your eyes, look out. There's plenty of other cultures that are getting wiped out through history.
Right.
You got a
sorry. I clicked on the wrong button.
message that popped up. Here, I wanted to share the screen also.
There you go. Shout out to the chat there. You got one of my old school followers in here.
Yeah, she just mentioned that she found us through you. Thank you very much, Dagan. And
Yes.
what's her name? Or React PT. I don't know who that is.
What's
Okay.
going on with
A
this
loyal
vlog?
legend.
Your recent one that just popped in today, 17 hours ago.
Yeah. Just a little bit quieter, more respectful approach to the historical areas of downtown.
First question I have regarding this episode, to be honest with you, I don't know how she managed to walk around in that dress in hot weather.
I
What
don't.
do you mean?
She was dying. She was dying. She was dying. She made that comment many a time.
Yeah, it looked like it was crazy hot, and I'm like looking the entire while watching the entire video. I can't believe she's wearing that thing in such a hot weather.
Yep.
Is there anything about these places that you walked around in historical waterfront Manila that a lot of people missed or just glaze over? Was there anything about this place that you really liked?
I 100% liked every bit of it. It completely reminds me of downtown St. Augustine, Florida, where I'm from. And the old 300, 400, 500-year-old Spanish colonial feel, the cobblestone roads, the horse-drawn carriages, everything about it and the culture within it, the maritime schools, the universities. It's very much authentic and genuine. I think there's a lot of potential there. I saw a lot of closed buildings and a lot of closed venues and different construction sites that could really be like some really amazing spots, restaurants, bars, things like that, historical sites, pubs. There was a lot of opportunity downtown. I think maybe for investors it would be a good place to go, and I think anybody looking to have a good time on a Sunday needs to go. It's an amazing place.
Galing. I love the sense of family and the sense of culture and history all sort of halo-halo into one one
Yes.
space.
Yes.
Other question I had, actually, I think I missed it. You were walking by what looks like a golf course or some kind of historical park or whatever, where you were talking to that
Mhm.
guard. What park was that?
So that is on the battlegrounds, the outer place, like the hills that surround the fort. And it looks like over the years it's gone from battlefield to what is now called Intramuros Golf Club, which I'm sure is where some of the elites play. Club Intramuros Golf Course, which surrounds old St. Augustine Church area with the
Which
basilica
is
and everything.
where Mary's from, actually, right? Noel, she was just saying that.
I don't know how close that is to Santa Mesa. Was this Santa Mesa? Not, no?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
Old Manila, Old Manila. Same direction, but not quite.
Right.
So did you just say, did I understand you correctly? So it was a battle site before, like Gettysburg battle site, and then now they turned it into a
There is
golf
some
course?
history there. There's some history between Americans, Chinese, British, Spanish, Japanese, British again, American again. So there's all kinds of different ownerships here. I did like the history of the. There's a Chinese fort and base on one side of it, and there's some pretty cool historical little battle monuments that talk about it and stuff on the walls. I don't know. You could spend the whole day just reading all the history on the walls and on the ground. It was pretty cool.
But did they turn it into a golf course? Is that what you said? Like the whole thing is.
Yeah, the outer rim is a golf course of it, where those would technically be like the hills that the armies would rise to attack the castle, that the fort. That's those are putting greens now.
There's one question, guys, that I want to ask Dagan again. I hope you don't mind, besides the obvious answer, but you'd probably say it more eloquently, Dagan. I'm counting on you on this one. What do you say about the argument going back to history being past is past? Let's move forward. Let's just look forward. And you can just Google it anyway. How do you wrap your head around about those types of arguments against history in classes?
A couple things in that question. First thing to nail right off the bat is never trust what you read on Google. Just because you Google it doesn't mean it's true.
Accurate, yeah.
Secondly, I would say that it's so to say, oh, the past is the past. It's using an intellectual and ethical statement to try to cover up maybe some manipulation in another path. For a culture, I would say it's kind of dangerous to say that. Never forget your history, but also never judge a child for their parents' sins. So, like imagine being 10 years old growing up post World War II as a German kid. Where could you travel in the world? But it wasn't you, it was your parents. So
that's stretching it out too far, isn't it, though? I mean, isn't that kind of like not exactly giving people the benefit of the doubt by looking at it that way?
Yeah, I mean, you have to give people the benefit of the doubt for sure.
Absolutely.
But it's 2024. It's revelations be upon us with the global glow of the aurora borealis around here. I've read some hilarious Hysterica articles. These are some desperate times in the world for a lot of people emotionally and mentally, and I think that trusting any large group, any setting, any person that you don't actually live with, I don't know. I don't really trust many people. I think that's a to each his own situation in today's world, especially in 2024.
Right.
But how would you? I'm just so frustrated with this. But how do you connect the idea that we do need to look at the past history? How do you connect that to the future? I think that's the disconnect of the
Number one
argument.
is mistakes. You look at the periodic table of elements in science, and all the things that we've made mistakes with, physics, economics. There's so many things where we made mistakes and we learned from them, and that's kind of one of the ways. Like, you have to remember the past so that we don't make those mistakes again, or at least we don't make the mistakes that our ancestors did. But also, you can use it as a study to see how different cultures and different people have been wiped out or annihilated or no longer exist because something came in and colonized them or gentrified them or industrialized them or in one way or another.
I've always, I mean, as of late, before this whole discussion about history and schools being taken out in the Philippines and whatnot, how do you feel about the way people look at history? You know, I mean, I mean, for somebody in my age, or it's history to us is literally from the beginning of time, in regards to wherever you are, whatever it is, and whatnot. But nowadays, history is being looked at it as too much of a modern history type of thing. Um, should the younger generation be going too far back, or no? Is it worth it to go that far back?
I think if they have the free time, they should dive deep. They should dive as deep as they possibly can.
Should schools invest into moving it forward? I mean, applying it forward.
Oh.
I mean,
yes.
Is it part of the budget?
But I feel yes, but I also feel now this is going into a lot of fanboy theory when you go with what we should be doing as humanity talk. Personally, I would say that perhaps we're institutionalizing our children too long in what you would call mainstream school or public schools. I think that maybe we should be looking at passions of children at a younger age and kind of pipelining them possibly a little bit more towards what they like or what they're good at. I don't know, there's going to come a time where things are standardized and things are prioritized. You know, if you look at like, what's that Matthew McConaughey movie where he goes into space and goes through time?
At Astra, not Astra.
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Right. They don't care for scientists anymore. They need farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, what should we be teaching? To save the planet or to play psychologist?
That brings up so many different questions and whatnot, because from what you said, the first question that pops up to my head is 12 years too much for school and for kids? K to 12? As a starter?
Hi.
I think that if it's done in the same place and the children aren't exposed to multiple cultures, I think it can be possibly a little hazardous to go out into the actual real world and see what it's like. For a child who's grown up in within the same 3 miles, elementary, middle school, and high school, and the same 1,000 people that they've known their whole lives, that's a pretty small box.
Yeah.
And when it's time to go see the real world, are you truly ready for it?
Yeah. Expose yourself.
Are you institutionalized into your cultural environment at this point?
Dagan, before we wrap things up here, I almost forgot. I wanted to discuss a little bit about if you had any thoughts about your last vlog's comments. So you got the one that came out 17 hours ago, Walking Historical Waterfront Manila. Do you have any reactions, comments, suggestions from the previous blog before that, the one at BGC, Fancy Filipino Mega City at Venice Mall?
Yes, sure. For the collaborative episode that we did together, you and I and our ladies, Cristina and Alyssa, number one, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I will always be honest with people. I've said that from the beginning. And I really try to implore that with the comments and comment control. I haven't had to really mitigate or mediate the comment section of my vlog yet, per se. But this was definitely a test. I think it's an appropriate test, be it that it was episode 100.
Good timing. The timing more perfect.
Yeah. I think that. Ooh, let's see. Let's give the political.
Let it out.
I think that. I think that perhaps what you said was misunderstood by a couple of people, and then the rest of the mob per se followed suit with an emotional outburst or an emotional opinion.
Bandwagon.
All it takes is one viral comment for a bandwagon of, I feel that way too today, emotionals, and they just kind of jump on it. So everyone's entitled to an opinion. The only thing I was negative against, obviously, was the racial slurs and comments and things that were on there. I don't really abide by that, so I had to handle a few people's comments just because of some rude things they were saying. But other than that, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I didn't take anybody down, no matter what they said. I appreciate you coming in and talking and responding.
I'm curious what those comments were that we didn't see.
Just some immature people,
Yeah.
or if I don't want to incite violence again, not
Right.
call them immature. I would say that those are some people that are hurting in the world
Mm,
right now.
mhm.
There's some people out there that you can tell don't really feel good today. Because they don't feel good today, they want to let you know that you're not allowed to feel good either. That kind of thing.
Right.
So maybe we can emotionally connect with those people in a way and feel sorry for them as well.
Yeah, I wanted to joke around with you about, having protecting me and editing out the nasty stuff that I said. But what was there any when I mean, but kidding aside though, when you were editing it, was there anything that you felt like maybe he shouldn't have said that or
No,
eh,
no, because the first thing I've learned is that you just got to put it out there. You just got to be yourself, and that
Mm,
the Filipino sarcasm is a beautiful thing. American English Western sarcasm is a beautiful thing. They do not mix well, nor can one normally understand the other. And I have a tough time with my sarcasm. I'll tell a great joke, and the whole room's just kind of looking at me like, "What?" And then they tell their little joke, and they're all rolling on the ground laughing,
right.
and I don't get their sarcasm. So it's one of those things where you just have to. Maybe they didn't really get it. Because look, I'll touch on the points for you. I'll back you up real quick because it needs to be said. And we actually have some people who are watching and they're going to listen to this too. Um, there is a vast majority of Filipino people that I have met in my personal travels amongst 5 of the major islands here in this country. There is a vast majority, both male and female, that do not know how to swim. And
mm,
even people who live on the coast. I am
mm,
not from Metro Manila. I live in a province in Bohol.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
in this province, it's a land of fishermen and farmers. And even amongst the fishermen, some people can't swim. I know Dula Papa, giant squid fisherman, who lives right here. He fishes from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day when he goes out, all the way offshore and back in his banca. He can't swim, but he will go fish all night in the middle of the ocean in a small banca with his bare hands, catching monsters. It's an honest question, and I'll validate your response. It is a poverty or financial based thing for a lot of people. I don't think they have the time to
mm.
get coaching, to get tutoring, to get someone to give instruction. I
Hmm.
think that is an unfortunate thing. And
Yeah.
if you go back to colonialization, you couldn't even do it if you weren't certain color, skin, certain elite person. There was, Christian beaches allowed. There was Catholic only beaches allowed. Protestant only beaches allowed during times. I mean, there's been a lot of different
Well,
things that have held back people's ability to swim.
it's a shame though because it could save their lives. That's my
It
only
could.
thing.
It could. And
Okay.
on that note, I think I want to take the opportunity to possibly maybe look into a swimming instruction course or giving a class and teaching for free whenever I travel. Like I go somewhere
Nice.
major and I give a how to swim, how to rescue course kind of thing. One for the kids, one for the parents. So
Yeah, like I said, with what we were talking about with the Philippine history classes a while ago, like what's the solution? What can we do for? Because it's easy to be complaining and but what are we gonna do about it looking forward?
the raw, like if I was going to go like Beth Dutton from Yellowstone, the raw business answer would be to tell you there's money all over the planet. Find
Mm,
someone who's willing to go in and sponsor this.
Hmm.
Start a Filipino swim instruction thing. I know dive masters all over Bohol, all over the Philippines. I know ex Navy SEALs who can come in and teach. I know rescue swimmers. I have a dozen rescue swimmer friends from the Navy. We can all get together and teach. We just got to find someone who wants to sponsor it, and we can start teaching free safety classes and instructions, rescue, self-rescue, lifeguard, all these things for free anywhere we go. We just got to find someone to help us front that philanthropic idea.
Mm, mm.
It's funny too because there's no issue with cold water, hypothermia kind of thing. If you jump in the water here, it's I mean like it would
And
be
you can
such a
see the
shame.
bottom.
It's
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
shame when people lose their lives in warm tropical waters. Again, check out the latest vlogs of Dagan on the Millennial Legends channel. There's another one just before a couple of weeks ago where he visited the Philippine Heritage Cemetery at the BGC. and then the one with the comments a while we were just talking about at Venice Mall, and most recently, just today, 17 hours ago, a walking tour around the historical waterfront in Manila.
Is
That's about
this
it for me,
the
guys.
last of the series?
No, we have two more, Tondo and the To-Go Ferry cruise. And then
Okay.
we jump into episode 104.
And that's the one that we're waiting for.
That's the one. That's the Academy Award winner right there.
I'm gonna be sitting on my ass here, keeping my hands to myself here.
Are you gonna do a live for that or what?
I would recommend. So I would recommend everybody does it. So my plan for 104 is a preview intro trailer episode, very short one. I'll put it out early in the morning. It'll broadcast till the afternoon, and then I'll do a premiere where I'll watch live and premiere and live chat with everybody for episode 104. And then following episode 104, we will jump into a live where it'll be the first time where I live in such a manner that you'll all find out in 104. And then we'll roll into a new episode of Life Today.
Nice. So something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to.
In other words,
Yep.
in a future episode 104 specifically, you'll go live. People can watch and talk to you at the same time as it's premiering.
Yes.
And that we're looking at 1-2 weeks ahead. How far are we
Probably
looking
about 3 weeks from now, right?
Not 1 week. 1 week.
Really?
It's
You're
time.
rushing it out.
It's time. 1 week.
Uh oh. My God, I need to buy popcorn.
at? Make sure
You'll need
clear out your
popcorn. You'll need a shot. You're gonna need a shot. Everyone's gonna need a shot after this one.
Okay. All right.
And you're gonna need a bowl of onions so that you can blame it on the onions.
clear out your schedule on your calendar. Just wanted to acknowledge React PT here. He's been messaging us. Did scuba? He did scuba, but I'm not good in swimming. See, there's even some scuba divers that don't know how to swim.
Jaws and piranha movies messed me up.
Good to hear from you, React PT. Also, you, Dagan, thank you for the time, and we look forward to that, man. We're right behind you, following your footsteps here.
Thank you. Yeah, episode 100 complete. If you go back and listen to Mr. Beast's first how-to episode, he says, look, don't talk to me until you do 100 episodes. Get 100 episodes done, build the groundwork, and then we can rise from there. And I did it all with a cell phone, so let's rock.
All right, or whatever. All right, stay put. We're gonna get back with you shortly. Thanks, Glenn, for coming in, Dagan.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure.
All right, let's close out this show.
Jesus
Jason,
Christ, what's
what a
going
show.
on there, huh?
How's my connection though? It's so slow here. It's so choppy.
Well, no, it's fine. I mean, but the whole beginning of the episode just choppy everywhere and whatnot. Listen, thank you very much to Mary. I am very impressed with that young woman. In a way, it's like something to really look forward to for the next generation to come, right?
Yeah, ako naman, for good or bad news, at least we're aware of it. That's the shame about the situation right now, that we're both, me in particular, being in the Philippines, living under a rock, not knowing what's going on about, these issues, whether big or small. So can't know about everything, but, at least for this thing about history and everything else that's going on around us, it's a shame not knowing, but it is what it is. And the important thing, I guess, is that we do know about it. So
Right. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. That was a very good and interesting conversations today. Look forward to the next episode, which is going to be on Wednesday. Again, that's 7 a.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Philippine time. Anything else you want to add on?
yeah, that's it. Thanks for the guests. Thanks for showing up today. That's really
All right,
good
for all the
conversation.
watchers, please go to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, yada, yada, yada. Like and subscribe. We truly appreciate it. And we'll catch you on Wednesday. Again, this is The Flip Side with Jay and Noel. My name is Jay.
Hey, just wanted to mention Dagan's message here. React BD, let's go. Thanks for coming through. Likewise, thanks. Yeah, my name is Noel.
We'll catch you guys later.
On the flip side. Peace out.
Catch us on the next episode, Wednesday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Philippines. This is The Flip Side with Jay and Noel.